Hey guys, how's it going? So what is a rhino and what is a blue dog Democrat? Well, the short answer is actually really easy. A rhino is a rhinoceros. It's a super large land animal with a big horn in the middle of its face. Blue dog Democrat, well, I guess it's a dog that either ran through a bunch of blue paint or got extremely cold or got choked of its oxygen supply. So I'll give you the real answer to those in just a couple minutes. So as I reported just a couple hours ago, House Joint Resolution 44 did pass the U.S. House of Representatives, which would make the ATF brace ban, pistol brace ban, illegal. This is a huge win. Now, I mentioned earlier that I would make a post with the two Republicans that voted against the resolution and the two Democrats who voted for it. And I was just going to do a community post, but I have a little interesting story to tell because we hear this lingo and acronyms thrown around. So, RINO, it's actually an acronym, R-I-N-O, which stands for Republican in name only. It also stands for, in this case, the two Republicans that voted against the Second Amendment. And these are Republican representatives Brian Fitzpatrick out of Pennsylvania and Thomas Keene Jr. out of New Jersey. So when we say Republican in name only, well, they have the R behind their name, which means they ran as a Republican and are on the ballot as a Republican. These are the worst kind. This is like a wolf in sheep's clothing, where they say that they're for the Second Amendment because that is generally the consensus of the Republican platform. They're usually looking for what's called down ballot votes. Let's just say President Trump was very popular on the ballot, the most popular of all time actually, but they will hope that people will just pull the old R lever and vote unilaterally for Republicans across the board, or nowadays you fill in the oval on the Scantron, and then it gets counted the most securely and fortified of all time. But what they're hoping they can do is just get lumped in with like the wave of Republicans and just take advantage of ignorant Republican voters who just vote for a party and have no clue, and this is kind of like traitors from within. These are the worst kind. So make sure you make Brian Fitzpatrick and Thomas Keene Jr. aware of that, especially if you're in their district. Now, Blue Dog Democrat. Look, they're still Democrats, Republicans, often two sides of the same coin. It's very frustrating. But if I were to just opine, I would say a Blue Dog Democrat might be actually better than a rhino. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Because see, a Blue Dog Democrat lets you know that they're a Democrat right away. But they have a little more conservative tendencies to them. Now, how did the quote Blue Dog Democrat name come to be? It's a caucus or a coalition, if you will be. So let's go back to the mid-90s. 1994, Clinton's president, Newt Gingrich comes forth with his Contract for America. The assault weapons ban had been passed, and don't forget this. This was a time that when Democrats voted for gun control, they lost, and they exceedingly lost. So there was a huge sweep, and the U.S. House of Representatives turned red, bright red, huge Republican majority. And there was a group or coalition of Democrats started by Representative Green from Texas. And he basically said, look, we're getting choked until we're blue. That's the deprivation of oxygen part by the left. These were Democrats that wanted to represent the Democrat platform in some ways, but they didn't want to go to the extreme left. So Representative Green of Texas in 1995 and a bunch of his colleagues coined the name Blue Dog Democrats. Now I explained the blue part, but the dog comes from, if you go back a little bit further, we used to have what was referred to as Southern Democrats or the Yellow Dog Democrats. So Representative Green combined, because they aligned a little more with the old school Southern Democrats or Yellow Dog Democrats, which were often pro-2A back in the day, and added the blue because they were choked until they were blue by the party trying to make them go way too far to the left. And another quick piece of trivia, all of you who live in the South, you think of yourselves as bright red states now, and you are, but it's not so long ago, just within the last few decades, that the vast majority of the southern states were actually controlled by Democrats in positions in Congress, governors and all of that. So the Yellow Dog Democrat or the Southern Democrat, that's pretty much gone. The Blue Dog Democrat was very popular in the mid-90s. If you go back about a decade ago, there were still over 60 that were part of this Blue Dog Democrat coalition. That has now waned to where there's only about 7 or 8 members left. Now, here's where they come into play. These are 2 that are actually co-chairs of the current Blue Dog Democrats. And that would be Democrat Jared Golden from Maine and Democrat Representative Mary Peltola from Alaska. So clearly, since there were only 2 that came over with the Republicans to vote to get rid of the pistol brace rule, the vast majority of the Blue Dog Democrats are clearly not very pro-2A nowadays, but they consider themselves to be a little more fiscally conservative. They consider themselves to have a little bit more traditional values, and they tend to reject the far left extremism, which their parties clearly run to in recent years more and more every day. So, whereas the RINOs seems like it's a growing breed, unfortunately, especially if you live in Michigan. And look at the Republican minority leader in the Michigan House, Matt Hall, who did vote for gun control, and so did 4 of his other Republican colleagues. The Blue Dog Democrat seems to be a dying breed. Many of them in the 1990s when it was formed. About 6 of them just 10 years ago. And now we're left to, I believe it's 8 of them left in the whole country, but 2 of them did vote to overrule or reject or make unlawful this new ATF pistol brace rule. So if you want to, I would definitely send praise to Representative Jared Golden of Maine, Representative Mary Peltola, Alaska. They went against the party line. This is tough, and they're probably going to have ramifications for that. And I would clearly expect that you would admonish and hold accountable at the polls the 2 RINOs, Representative Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania and Thomas Keene Jr. of New Jersey. And hopefully you guys enjoyed that little story, because you hear this saying, at least I assume you have, blue dog and rhino, and yes, they're animals, but in this case they actually have a story behind what both of them are. So hope you guys enjoyed that and enjoyed getting to hang out with Daisy here. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is there any Democrats left in the audience that still support the Second Amendment? Because there's like only 2 left apparently of the 435 members of the United States House of Representatives. Alright, thanks for watching and have a good one.